how it works. The one thing that makes the music come from this album, that comes through these speakers, is a very, very small thing that you cannot see here. You cannot see it. You cannot see it. I don't know how much you can zoom in, but you cannot see it. You cannot see it. It's right under here. It's called a needle. All of this music, all of this power, all of this energy comes from one thing called a needle. The needle is the seed that brings all the music, that creates all the dancing, that brings all the fellowship, that brings all the slow dancing, that brings all the kids. I shouldn't have said that. I just had a 1960 flashback. That's what happened. Cooley High, 1966. Y'all don't understand the movie. But it all came from a needle, a seed, not something big, something small, but something valuable. We're sitting in church tonight, and a lot of us don't think that we have anything to contribute because we're looking at how big it is instead of how significant it is. You see, we wouldn't be jealous if we understood how jealousy works. We wouldn't be hateful if we understood how hate works. Maybe we could love if we understood how love works. Maybe I could give if I understood how giving works. Maybe I could be more passionate if I understood how passion works. Maybe I could have more vision if I understood how vision works. Maybe I could dream if I understood how dream. See, the key is our lack of understanding. And so when we come in a setting like this and God starts to teach us, two things happen. We can either say we're going to go and have good church, or God's going to give us some understanding so we can have a good life. Life does not seem good every day, but as long as there's a seed, and as long as there's a fruit, and as long as there's a tree, there's a guarantee that even though right now it might look like nothing, it is in the ground producing something, and there will be some fruit that will come from you. Why aren't there more fruit? Because most of us eat our seed. And where there is no harvest, there was no invest. Where there is an invest, there will be a harvest. Now, I don't expect the kids to quite get what I just said, but if you don't put a seed in the ground, you're not going to have any fruit. I was walking out of church last night, and one of the amazing things happened. I was just talking to a little kid and just loving on him, saying, hey, man, I appreciate you, and tell me some of the things that you're doing. And he started talking about he's getting into coding. Okay, well, I don't know what that is. So he was explaining to me what's going on in school. 12 years old, I think, maybe just 13, maybe 12. He's talking about he's learning coding. And so now I'm listening because now he's speaking a language that I don't understand, and I want to understand what he's talking about so I can have a conversation with him. In the midst of talking about that coding, he just reaches into his pocket and he said, here, I want to give this to you, Pastor. I want to sow a seed into you. What? You want to what? I want to sow a seed into you. All I'm giving him is some conversation and some love and some time and some talk to, and before we go home, and I'm just doing that thing after church with him. And he says, I want to sow a seed into you. Well, of course, I took the kid's seed and looked for the offering basket. There was no basket around, and I just put it in my pocket, and I was talking, and I was using him as a little model about something to another adult, and I said, this young man just sowed a seed into me, and I looked at it, it was a $100 bill, and I grabbed him, Jesus. I put it away without realizing what it was. But at 12 years old, he has sense enough like Jesus to know that if I am going to ever reap a harvest, if I'm going to ever take coding to another level and maybe own Microsoft, maybe invent another Apple program, I need to sow into something that appears to be growing right now. Now you might say, well, he's too young to understand what's going on, but he's at the level now of trusting. Some of you may have great understanding. Your knowledge has made you broke. Your budget has you in need. Your commitment to what you have been doing, like the record the needle who's on the record, see, whether you touch this or not, when I move it, it is going to automatically start to progress, because that's the system. I don't have to do anything but get the needle on the record, because the grooves have already been made. The grooves were made in the record before I ever put it on there. It came prepared to move. It came prepared, ready to play. If I put this with that, there's a combination. I put this with this, and I don't have to do anything but move out of the way. It is going to progressively move, because that's what the grooves do. The grooves have already been placed in place so that the needle will move and produce the music. Let me tell you something. When God puts something in your life and put it in your hand, he says you've got to activate it. The reason that you're behind is that you won't put the needle on the record. Don't try to figure it out. Understand that my instructions are put the needle on the record. The grooves are already in place. But how many times have you had a record that got stuck and it just stayed in one space? That was all right. Your mama put a quarter on it. Now y'all don't understand quarters. I don't even want to go through that. But sometimes you just had to tap it a little bit and let it skip. Maybe your finances right now are a little bit stuck. I came by this week to tell you, you just got to tap it a little bit and reset it. Touch somebody and say, I got to tap it and reset it. Yeah, I know you're stuck in the same spot, 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 stuck in the same, stuck. Tap it and reset it.